So this year I went to Berget, and it was an experience that I've never felt before. In this video I will show you some of the more memorable footage from the game. What you see before you right now is the first mission we do the morning after the game starts. Our mission is to sneak up on the enemy lines and launch a surprise attack. We can hear the sound of tanks, but because we have plenty of 84s, we decide to push up. But soon after, we come in contact with enemy infantry. Turns out we weren't the only ones thinking of launching a surprise attack. We managed to push the enemies back, and after doing so we decide to regroup and await orders from HQ. But it turns out we have lost connection with HQ and the rest of our platoon, so we decide to hold this position for now, a choice that will soon wipe out our entire group. We manage to hold the enemies back, and after a few minutes it all goes silent. But this was just the first wave, and we will all soon face something even more terrifying. We hear the sound of two tanks, and this is really bad. All of our anti-tank rifles are with the rest of the platoon. We have no way of protecting ourselves, and this is the beginning of the end. I try to keep my head down to not get hit, as my teammates all around me get mowed down by the machine guns from the tanks. We're starting to feel hopeless. We have no way of taking the enemy tanks out, and their machine gunners are shooting with deadly precision. All around me there's dead players, and we're down to just a handful of us left. And just seconds before I get shot, my batteries die. After getting back to the base, I switch the batteries on my camera and then decide to get something to eat. I'm just a few bites into my hamburger when I can hear enemy fire. Our base is under attack, and I decide to go into action. I grab a battle buddy and run to the far right side of our base, unaware of what we're about to meet.
Sounds like there are a ton of people here.
Yeah.
We're told there's a lot of enemies in the forest, but we don't know where, so we decide to set up a defensive line across the road.
Road.
I spot a drone up in the air, but I can't tell if it's an enemy or a friendly. If it's an enemy drone, we can get airstriked any second, but thankfully it turns out to be a friendly. We can hear the enemies blowing whistles from the forest, and we know they're about to try to push up the hill. My battle buddy mistakes our friendlies for enemies, but thankfully I stop him from friendly firing. I know it looks like I'm shooting at friendlies, but they are further to the right. My battle buddy starts making some sounds, and I check up on him. Turns out he's been sitting in a fire ant stack this entire time. My battle buddy thinks I'm shooting at friendlies, but he will soon be proven wrong. A BB hits the tree by my belly button, and I decide we should move.
Ja, den träffar trädet bredvid dig. Akta på dig, jag kan se kulorna studsa runt dig. Oh yeah.
We move up the hill, but it turns out it's even worse up here. Below us, the entire enemy team is trying to make a push up the hill. If they succeed, we lose our best base defense. A medic runs down the hill to get one of our wounded, and we give him some covering fire. But sadly, the medic in front of me gets shot, and I decide to move out of the way. It's a hard fight, and we're taking a lot of casualties, but still, we're holding the enemies back.
Keep an eye out for that hill.
Yeah, I hit one there.
Oh, you hit one? Okay, good.
But it's very hard to hit them.
Yeah,
Fly for like 5 seconds.
I know.
On my way down the hill, I meet my bell buddy, and we both got some bad news to
Vi blir
tell.
avkörda där uppe. Ja. Vi har 2 prickskyttar vi har slagit ut på en kulle där uppe, men det kan finnas fler.
I tell him about the hopeless situation at the top of the hill, and he tells me about the bottom of the hill, where almost all friendlies have been killed.
Ja. Ja. Ja, det är dumt att gå ner, det enda vi kan göra är att försöka att driva ut fienden och tömma dem på manskap. Jag tog bara med mig 1 magasin och min pistol.
I'm running low on ammo, and all of my extra ammo is in my plate carrier in our tent.
Ja. Eller om jag sticker och hämtar mer ammo. Det är det jag tänker. Shit. Ja, jag springer ner och hämtar ammo.
I go to get some ammo, but I'm told by my bell buddy that the enemies are attacking the other side of our base too. This is really bad. We are now surrounded. Just before leaving the tent, I can hear the sound of armored vehicles. This makes the situation even worse. I know I can't take out enemy armor with my rifle, so I decide to get into cover instead. Immediately after thinking this, I am ironically given an 84.
I take it.
I decide to follow these guys to go destroy the enemy tanks at the entrance of our base, but this turns out to be a very bad move. Immediately after getting into position, an enemy machine gun starts firing at us. I try to take aim at the enemy vehicle, but I get distracted. Poor guy, he can't even get a break. When the guys next to me get shot by machine guns, I realize this isn't a good position, and I decide to move back to my old one. I finally find a position where I can take aim at enemy armor, and I somehow manage to hit. I meet a friend and I decide to give him the 84. It is way too hard to run with anyway.
Yeah, point in general direction, fuck everything. Rocket. Rocket. Fordonen där uppe är utslagna.
Vi hade en tank där borta som vi sköt på från kullen.
Ja.
Jag vet inte om vi fick ut den eller inte.
Okej.
Men det var innan de här kom, så jag trodde det bara var en diversion. Det var tyska flaggan.
Jaha, då är det den lättare.
Ja.
Den som inte har massa grejer på
Exakt.
sig.
Så jag trodde det bara var en diversion för att vi skulle ha den så att de skulle flanka. Det tror jag.
Förmodligen.
It turns out that the enemy armor at the entrance of our base was only a distraction, and the real threat is back up on the hill where the enemy tanks are trying to push up. I decide to take my friend's 84 and run up the hill to face the enemy tanks.
Yes.
There's one vehicle left alive up here by the yellow tank.
Yeah.
So if you can push where the ATs are pushing there,
Yes.
follow them. It's reloaded.
Oh, it's a reloader.
Just follow them and then hit the vehicle up there.
Got it.
All right.
All right. Samuel! Samuel,
I give my rifle to my friend to run faster through the bushes, ignoring the fact that I might need it.
Where is the tank?
Go and ask. Go towards the guy on the to the right by the fence.
Where's the enemy vehicle? There.
After giving the enemy vehicle the beating of its life, I decide to go back, grab my friend, and continue with the mission up the hill.
Jag tror jag sköt upp 5 skott med den. Yeah.
Come on.
Shit. Samuel!
We're told the tank situation on the hill is getting worse, but my friend sees a vehicle, runs off and leaves me alone. I decide to continue towards the hill anyway, even though I no longer have an 84. Now that's what I call smooth.
Nice uniform.
Yeah, thank you. It's snow camo.
I didn't even notice when my friend had caught up to us, but he was now standing up on the hill shooting at the enemy tanks. Soon all the enemy tanks are taken out and the enemy infantry is falling back. Our group is ordered by the platoon leader to regroup on top of the hill in case the enemies come back. Nothing really happened for a while, and me and my friends decided to pass the time by trying to guess what character the others were thinking of.
Gumball! Det är Gumball!
But soon we are told by our platoon leader to push up. We move up to protect our FAD, our fuel and ammunition depot. If the enemies manage to take this position out, all of our vehicles will be immobilized and we won't be able to make a counterattack. Our squad leader gives us orders to form a line to cover the area where we think the enemies might come from. Shortly after getting into positions, we come in contact with the enemies on the hill. Our squad leader gives the order to push up and drive the enemies back. We are soon victorious, as the enemies don't put up too much of a fight, and we decide to go back to the base to recover and rest. After resting for a few hours in the base, our platoon leader gives us orders to round up and prepare for a night raid on the enemy base. Our objective is to take out the enemy FAD and the enemy tanks, to make way for a full-scale attack on their base later on. We start marching towards the enemy base, but to make sure we're not spotted along the way, we walk through the woods instead. This march will take about 2 hours. This is the biggest operation we have made this far, and it involves almost 300 teammates. After almost 2 hours of walking, we are getting close to the enemy base, and our platoon leader gives us orders to be silent. Just a few hundred meters away from the enemy base, we gather up and split into 2 groups. My group will attack the enemy FAD, and meanwhile the other group will be distracting the enemies on the entrance of their base. Just meters away from the enemy FAD, we get spotted and we decide to attack. Everything becomes chaos, and I'm just gonna let you watch it all unfold.
Ja.
When we get closer we realize that all of the enemies are on the FAD. Turns out the second group got delayed and we are now taking all the firepower. Even though we have lost all element of the prize, we decide to push anyway. get orders to push, but I get hit.
Kraft! Medic! Medic!
I'm in a bad position to be revived, and my body decides to move me to a better position. Luckily for me, our group's medic is still alive.
Tjena! Fan vilken jävla push!
Helvete!
Mår du bra?
Ja, lite omskakad över hur fort det gick.
Turns out our medic is in a state of shock from the push,
Tror du den är för kort?
but he's still holding out.
Det går.
Okej.
After some fumbling, he managed to get my bandage on. I'm back in battle.
Du.
Everyone else, push back!
Even though we have many casualties, the push is going strong, and for a moment it looks like we're actually winning. But then I'm hit again, and this time I'm out. Because I'm dead, I decide to move up on the top of the hill to get a better look at the battle. I finally realize how bad the battle is going for us, and first now the second group have reached the entrance of the enemy base.
Jesus. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, but that's why the original plan was to attack at the same time,
Yeah.
so they would distract them from base.
I think it goes without saying that we lost this battle, and we have to go back to our base, defeated.
Right. Before we go any further, this is the right way? Riktig vei? Hæ? Ja, men er det riktig vei?
Yeah.
Thankfully, it turns out we have a field hospital nearby, and we can regroup here and then make another push.
Shit. Tank is coming! Tank!
Just seconds after we have all respawned, the enemies push up on us with a tank. Thankfully, it doesn't take too long before it's taken out.
Jag kommer inte igenom där, men han kan definitivt se och skjuta på oss.
If the tank is coming, get the hell away from it.
Yeah.
After destroying the tank, we decide to make another
No,
push.
we don't have any AT.
Du måste laga bron, eller vadå?
Deras fordon är strandade.
We are told our team have destroyed the enemy bridge. This means they can no longer use any vehicles to get to our base unless they repair it first.
Det är fängelsetorn. Eller det där uppe är bara ett vakttorn.
The second group are now distracting the enemy team, and we can push up on the FAD. We thought that this was the FAD, but it turns out this is wrong. The FAD was in front of us, and we had to regroup before making that push.
Tervetuloa! Rotsi satana!
Visste att du kunde spanska här.
Wow, nu känner jag mig fan så här kränkt. Du var nära mitt finska blod.
After being bullied by my group for being half Finnish, we decide to make the push. Minutes later I have lost my group. Turns out it's very easy to do that on these kind of missions.
Uppsplittrad på typ 4 olika ställen. Min egentliga grupp är stormade andra sidan för jag delades upp från dem. Min nuvarande grupp är också uppsplittrad.
After running around for a while, I managed to find my old group, and we now push for the FAD. I can see the enemy's 2 tanks standing by their FAD, and this is good. This means they have been destroyed. We are right next to the enemy's FAD, and we have to be quiet so we don't attract the enemy's attention. Though that didn't work out. We've managed to drive the enemies back, and we are now trying to take their FAD. But they don't give up without a fight. We need to hold this position for 30 minutes to destroy their FAD, but this is easier said than done. I can hear BBs bouncing all around me, and I try to keep my head down to not get hit. Just before I get shot and we take the enemy's FAD, my batteries die. And after switching batteries, our platoon leader orders us to fall back. Our objective has been completed, but the mission is still on. We now need to get out of the enemy's base.
They will hunt us!
The enemies doesn't put up too much of a fight, and we managed to get out of their base without too many casualties. The mission was successful, the enemy could barely leave their base anymore, and this was the end of day 1 of Berget.
Because we don't think about the finish that much. Yeah, so they're outside making jokes about me. Hey, what? Hey, what? What the fuck you want, man? I survived. What did you? Why did you survive? I was in the middle of the fire, man.